Welcome to our Swift Epiphanies.
I'm Tanya.
And I'm Emery.
We're a mother and daughter with an admiration
and a little obsession
for Taylor Swift.
In this podcast, we let you in on our discussions of Taylor's artistry,
her genius,
and her poetry.
Her music evokes powerful emotions
and has led to epiphanies both personal and universal.
Come along and join our deep conversations as we share our Swift epiphanies. We're back after quite the hiatus. It feels weird.
Yeah, right? We're starting off our new year with a new episode. We hope you enjoyed our last episode, a little 2022 recap, some little bonus things. We're starting strong and fun today.
So our episode today is called Our Lyrical Misunderstandings. And the premise of this is there are lyrics that we've gotten wrong, whether it's for a short period of time or we've been singing it wrong for years. Those are the things that we're focusing on today. And as I was preparing for this, there's two things that I thought of. One is you don't know what you don't know. First of all, like stealing that lyric from Mean, but you don't know what you don't know. And so there's one that I discovered as I was doing this that I'm a little embarrassed about that went on this long. The other thing I noticed in preparation is how embarrassing this episode is going to be, because I was like,
absolutely.
Oh boy, there's a lot of misunderstandings and they're a little
The
embarrassing
thing for me is that one of my favorite songs, very first line, I've been singing wrong.
Oh, I'm so excited to get into it.
Yeah, we'll get into it. I do want to start. This episode topic was inspired by a TikTok that we saw of another Swiftie kind of bringing to light when you realize that you've been singing this lyric wrong. And so we had been singing that lyric wrong. And so we got started thinking about these other lyrics we had wrong. And we each individually went through and found some of these misread, misheard lyrics. And so we're gonna find some of these things out about each other right now.
We haven't really shared any of this, so it's gonna be fun. I'm so embarrassed.
Me too.
So we're gonna kind of go chronological, aren't we? We're gonna go album by album. And like I said, it was hard to find the things you got wrong because the only way to do that is to listen and read the lyrics as you go. And I mean, we all love to do that, but I didn't have time.
And it's hard to know what you sing when you're reading the lyrics too, because you're like, yeah, that makes sense. And then you're in the car later and you're like, wait, did I just sing that right or wrong?
Mm-hmm. So most of mine are ones that I've discovered I was wrong previous to preparing for this.
Most of mine are the opposite. Most of mine are things that I didn't know until I went through all the songs. And admittedly, I didn't really go through her debut album, Fearless or Speak Now, because I know those by heart. Like, I've read the lyrics. I had the lyric books as a kid. So I know those lyrics back to front, front to back. I would read those at recess. I would take my little CD lyric book and I would read those on the swings at recess. So I didn't really comb through those songs because maybe it's a little prideful, but I'm pretty confident that I know every single word to those songs and I'm correct about them. And so I kind of started in red, and that's where I immediately was embarrassed because I got a lot wrong in red. And some of them are just little tiny words, but some of them I'm like, oh my gosh, how have I not known what that is? And how have I not been curious if I was getting that wrong?
Well, do you want to start with red because it's such a big revelation for you and so many epiphanies, or do you want to go chronological?
I say we still go chronological. Okay. I want to hear what you've got from her first three.
So right in the debut, Cold as You is the first one that I found. And this one was kind of a revelation, but I've been reminded of it a couple times, but I still probably sing it wrong because that's the one that was in my head to begin with. Her line that says, so I start a fight because I need to feel something. In my head, it's I start a fire because I need to feel something. The meaning is kind of interchangeable, but it's wrong. I was thinking, why did I think I start a fire? Because that's the opposite of cold, the frigid experience she's having. And so starting a fire is,
that makes a lot of sense. I actually really like that.
Yeah.
And that's part of what we're going to talk about, or at least mention today, is whether we like the way we've misheard it or missung it more. And I don't necessarily know if I like one or the other in that more, but I do think I start a fire because I need to feel something adds a little bit more meaning. It pulls it back to that metaphor of she's never known anything cold as him.
Yeah.
And I also think it could be a metaphor for a fight.
Exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
So that one never really jolted me when I found out that I was wrong, because I'm like, well, it still fits and still works. If I forget that it's fight and I sing fire, I'm not embarrassed. And nobody else would know as much because the words are similar and it wouldn't be so obvious that I'm singing it wrong, like other things that I sing or say wrong. So that's the only one in this category for me from her debut. So Fearless in the song Tell Me Why. This is one that's a little embarrassing because my wording doesn't fit. Instead of here's to you and your temper. Yes, I remember what you said. In my head, it was here's to you and your temper, your smile. Remember what you said, etc. So I don't know what your smile would like, your temper and your smile. It doesn't fit. But this is one that I've been getting wrong for a very long time. And no, it is not interchangeable. And I do not like the misconception that I had with these lyrics.
I feel like there are a few, though, that are like that, where you just, when you first listen to it, you don't know what it says. And so you just insert words that you think could fit. And then you just keep singing them that way, even though you know it doesn't fit, but you're so convinced that that's it.
That's right.
I've got some of those.
Yeah. So there's my Fearless. Speak Now.
I don't have any for Speak Now either.
I don't have any for Speak Now either. So
okay, Speak Now. Way to go.
Do you want to take the reins on Red?
Oh my gosh, do I?
Do you?
I don't know if I do.
You do. This is where we like fess up to everything. Well, not everything, but
this is where the truth comes out. So here's the thing. Self-preservation mode is coming into play. I get why I don't have as many in her first 3 albums, because like I said, I've read those lyrics. And in her newer albums, Folklore, Evermore, Midnights, I've read those lyrics. I'm a Swiftie and I really want to know what her lyrics are. And I like listening to her new music for the first time with the lyrics up so that I fully get the songs. And so Midnights and Folklore and Evermore, there's very few songs that I have misconstrued lyrics on. Midnights especially, because we went through the lyrics as we listened to her songs for the very first time. And so her first 3 and her latest 3, I know why I don't have any in them. But Red, boy. I don't think I've ever gone through Red reading the lyrics. I think it came out and I just listened to it. They're mostly all bops. And so I just sang whatever was in my head at the moment.
Yeah. Whatever you hear the first time, that's what you go with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And then I was just so convinced that I was right that I never questioned it. But I will say it will just start out strong on Treacherous, because Treacherous is one of those that I don't actually know what I sing. When this lyric comes up, I don't know what comes out of my mouth. So I was like going through, and the words are, your name has echoed through my mind. I read that and I was like, I don't ever sing it like that. And so I was trying to figure out what I do say, and I don't actually know. I don't actually know what I do say, but I do know that I start with you may not. Instead of your name has, I start with you may not. And then it gets really muddy in there. And then it ends up with blew my mind. So it's you may not, it blew my mind. And I don't know why. I don't know why I've never looked up that lyric, because I know that I've sung it muddled. I know that I've never known what those words are, but I've never looked it up. I've never known that it's your name has echoed through my mind. And that's a hard pill to swallow.
All of today is going to be a hard pill to swallow and admit, for sure.
Yep.
That's
but no, one. It's your name has echoed through my mind. And it makes a lot more sense. Because what I've been singing is gibberish.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
That's one where it's like a clear, the way she wrote it is better. No competition.
Better than gibberish.
Yes.
Oh,
way
man,
better.
I love it.
This is another one that doesn't make sense. It's in red, and I know you've got one for red too, but mine in red is so dumb. And again, this is one that I didn't know until I was looking it up. She says, passionate as sin. I've always thought it was passion innocent, like passion, comma, innocent. And it doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Passionate as sin, ending so suddenly. I always thought it was passion, innocence, ending so suddenly. Those two words don't go together.
They don't.
So it's never made sense to me. That's just what I thought it was.
But even in like real lyrics, sometimes there's those things that like we just go along with because they sound great. And for her, it makes sense. So we're just going to go with it. And those sound
that's what
right.
I thought. I was like, I guess
one of those.
I guess that's how a breakup feels. Passionate, innocent. It ends. I guess. I don't know. I have no experience. I don't know if that makes sense or not.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't. It really doesn't.
I love that. That's hilarious.
Yeah. So,
but I like that we're doing this together because then I don't feel as dumb.
Yeah, don't worry.
Okay. Do you want me to share my red?
Yeah. What about your red misconception?
So I have been fighting with this misconception for years. And I'm like, are we sure the lyric websites are right? Where's the proof that I'm wrong?
This is where we're different because you heard this song. And I remember like right when this song came out and we were listening to it and you were like, is it? And you looked it up. And I'm clearly not good at looking things up when I have questions. I just go with it. So,
but I still, in my head, I think my way fits. And I still question if all the lyric sites are wrong. But I also went to Spotify, and I have a feeling that Spotify gets it right because there's, contracts between the artists and Spotify, and they also have like the video clips,
the stories at the bottom,
the stories. And so like there's this officialness about Spotify. So I'm like, I trust Spotify a little more than I trust like ABZ lyrics, whatever. But I've always wondered if everybody's gotten it wrong but me.
So what is it? Don't give what is it?
I love this song because it brings color into emotions and into feelings and into situations. She says, losing him was blue, like I've never known. Those match up perfect, right? Blue and like missing someone, or like there's a sadness that you've never felt before. Losing him was blue, like I've never known. Missing him was dark gray, all alone. That color and being alone totally goes together. Forgetting him was, should I go my way or the real way? So here's what is in my head. Forgetting him was black, trying to know somebody you've never met. And the real lyric is forgetting him was like trying to know somebody you've never met. And so part of me is like, she missed an opportunity. Because I've always thought that like forgetting him was black, like everything is erased, everything's gone, everything's just black. The screen goes dark. Forgetting him was black, trying to know somebody you've never met, like amnesia or whatever. And I really, really like it that way. And so now every time I sing it, I'm mad. I'm mad that I'm not right. But I have finally come to the realization that I am wrong, and that there it is. It's like, but I still think it's black.
It makes sense. It makes sense with the colors. It does. I get it.
Thank you.
But it is wrong.
Yeah, it will always be wrong, but
that's okay.
Maybe one day she'll sing it my way.
I doubt it, but that's okay.
But
you can keep hoping.
I can keep hoping because I think
you can keep singing it your way.
I think it's a missed opportunity.
I think I'm going to jump to Ronan. Ronan is kind of in red. And this is a sad song, but I do think there's a missed opportunity in here. And this isn't something that I miss here, but this is a missed opportunity in the chorus where she says, out of this curtained room in this hospital gray. I think an added level of meaning, or at least a extra little sucker punch in the throat on top of all the other ones in this song that just make your heart break. I think it would be beautiful to say, out of this curtain curtained room in this hospital grave,
Ooh,
which makes it really sad and
it
really
does.
dark. But I think that's how a lot of people feel. And I think that would add an extra level of meaning to the song, that in this hospital grave, we wish we could just disappear. We wish we didn't have to fight this battle and we could just leave.
That's a big one. And it is heavy, but it is beautiful too. Like it makes sense.
Yeah.
This song always makes me cry. Full disclosure, I didn't go through this one. There's a couple songs that I was like, I can't analyze this one right now.
Yeah.
And Ronan was one of them.
Yeah, I did not go through it looking for missed words and things, but that is something that I've thought about ever since I've heard the song. And I sing it that way sometimes to myself because sometimes that's how it feels. So sorry to take us dark, but
well, we need it all. We're bringing it all in. So what else in red have you got?
I'll start with a couple of the small ones that I'm less embarrassed about. I Knew You Were Trouble. It's flew me to places I've never been. I always say blew me to places. That doesn't matter in my eyes.
I wonder if I'm the culprit in making you feel that way, because that is a lyric I've always gotten wrong, because the sentiment I blew me, like it's an explosion. And I wonder if I planted that seed or it just makes sense. Like we're on the
I
same
think it
wavelength.
just makes sense.
It does.
I think it just
they're interchangeable, really.
They really are interchangeable, but I think blue just makes it feel a little bit more explosive. Another one is 22, and this I only got wrong for a short period of time when it came out, and then I was corrected because I heard it correctly. At the very beginning, when she says we're going to make fun of our exes, at first I thought it was we'll make fun of our accents, and I just thought that was like a fun, we're going to hang out and do different accents and make fun of each other for it
and be goofy,
and that's a fun pastime that we can have. And I was quickly corrected that it's make fun of our exes, which makes more sense. So Sad, Beautiful, Tragic, I always thought it was a fair twice, but it's actually, we had a beautiful, magic love there, beautiful, tragic love affair. So it's different.
What?
You heard it here first, folks. This is new.
I just epiphanized. You just threw that epiphany in my face, because I always thought it was love affair the whole time, like all of them.
Yeah.
Magic love affair. What is that?
When you really listen to it, I had to really listen to it. Like I read the lyric as I was going through and I was like, that can't be right. And then when you really listen to it, it's right. She says there first and then affair. I mean, it's a little different.
I did not know that one. You just gave me another one. Because I was right there with you with that one.
I'm curious if this one, I feel like we've talked about this one before, but in the Lucky one, when she says all the young things line up to take your place, I always thought it was the young thieves come to take your place. Like they're stealing your place from you. And I feel like that makes more sense. I like all the young thieves line up to take your place more than the young things.
When you say young thieves, the intention of the star or the celebrity or whatever to like get to that place. And when you say the young things, it sounds like the industry is like bringing them.
Yeah.
I can see that one.
I will probably continue to sing thieves and things interchangeably depending on my mood, but this is one that I will not sing interchangeably. I am very embarrassed about this one. This is the one that I said at the beginning. This is one of my favorite songs. I sing it all the time. It's one of my just anthem songs that like I go to when I need to feel upbeat and fun. And it's the song Starlight. How does the first verse of Starlight start?
I met Bobby on the boardwalk, summer of 45.
I have always sung, I'm a Barbie on the boardwalk, summer of 45.
Sorry to laugh so much on that one. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
And the funny thing is, I've always adored that lyric. I've always loved it. I've always thought that's such a cute lyric. I'm a Barbie on the boardwalk, summer of 40.
Yeah, you're a vintage Barbie, dressed to the nines, looking good, walking down the boardwalk. Love it. I think that's so cute. I don't think you should be embarrassed because it's cute. Okay, maybe. Yeah. I met Bobby.
I met Bobby on the boardwalk.
Yeah, not a Barbie.
No.
That's cute though. I like it.
It's gonna take me a while before I pull up that song again to sing it because I just can't. I just can't.
You're like, there's some that it's so disappointing when you find out you're wrong. Like for me,
Yes.
the red and the black, like it's so disappointing because I'm like, I like it
Yes.
that way. I
Because
like,
I've loved that lyric. I've
Mhm.
always been like, yes, I love the way that she starts this song. It puts me in that fun summer mood, feeling like a Barbie, feeling like a cute person, loving myself, being excited to go do fun things and have adventures. And instead, she meets Bobby. And
The thing is, like we said, there are these ones that are disappointing when we find out because it changes the entire meaning. It just
yes,
changes everything. Some of them are interchangeable, and you're like, okay, that's the real word. That's fine. Because it could be either or. But this one is the complete difference.
that's the one I'm most
What you're most
embarrassed
embarrassed
about.
about? Oh, you wait till we get to mine. It's so bad.
I
So,
only have one more in red.
okay, what is it?
So it's in State of Grace. This one, without a doubt, the real lyrics, much more beautiful. I only learned this when I looked this up for this episode, but my life has changed for the better because of this one. She says, "We learn to live with the pain, mosaic broken hearts. I have always sung mostly in broken hearts."
Oh,
Which is like fine, it makes sense. We've learned to live with the pain, mostly in broken hearts. Like
yeah,
that makes sense,
it does.
but we've learned to live with the pain. Mosaic broken hearts is such a beautiful lyric. It's just stunning wordplay. It's classic Taylor Swift. Like those are the lyrics that we started this podcast for. And I've
Right.
missed it my whole life. Mosaic Broken Hearts is gorgeous. I love
Mm-hmm.
it. But
Mm-hmm.
I've sung it wrong. And you know what? At this point, I'm okay with it because now I get to sing it right. And I'm happy about that.
You love the new discovery because it's much more
Absolutely.
visual. It's just so poetic.
Yeah,
So
it really is.
the one where you're happy you were wrong.
Yep. Do you have any others from Red?
When I was going through the TS version of Red, this lyric in I Bet You Think About Me, I had to get a grasp on it. So scared not to be hip, scared to get old, chasing make believe status. Last time you felt free was when none of that mattered because you were with me. I looked that one up to try to see what it was. And there was a common idea out there that it was chasing maple leaf status and the idea that it had to do with Canada and the ex that has this fondness for Canada. So anyway, I got it wrong because other people got it wrong. And I kind of defended it for a little bit because I was like, it makes sense. And then I'm like, but maybe not.
It makes a little sense for the circumstance, but I do love that it's make believe status
Yeah.
because I think that it relates to everyone more. Not all of us have an ex that liked Canada, and
Right.
not all of us feel like we need to like Canada
Or that
to,
Canada needs to like us. Right.
yeah.
You're right. Like make believe status is one of the things I love now about this song because she talks about like the difference growing up grounded and then growing up not so grounded and this whole like
Mhm.
sensationalized lifestyle and the sensationalized status and stuff. And so I do love chasing make believe status more than the mistake of maple leaf
Yeah.
status. Mm-hmm.
Well, and I think we're all chasing some sort of status. I've always loved that.
Did you ever get that one wrong?
No, because here's the thing, I don't look at the news.
Right. You don't Google it all.
I don't look at Taylor news as much as I love her. I am not super versed in her personal relationships. And so I had no idea that he liked Canada or that that would be anything that she would mention in a song. And so for me, it just always made sense that she was chasing make believe status.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have ever put maple leaf in there until someone would have told me to. And I never went and looked it up. So this is the moral of this episode is that I don't look things up. But I think that wraps up Red. I think we can move on and hopefully come out of a little or a lot of our embarrassment.
All right. So 1989 is next. And the only one I want to talk about is the Starbucks situation in blank space. Did you ever go that way?
No,
I didn't
I
either.
think that that ended up more as a spoof
Yeah.
than a real misunderstanding like no one really thought it was that, but you could hear it as that. And then once you can hear it as that, it's hard to not hear it as that.
But here's the thing for me, like I can't hear it like that. Like I'll be
Really?
like, now where is this Starbucks thing in here? And I'll get it wrong because I'm like, that doesn't fit anywhere for me. Even like syllable wise and everything. I'm like, now how do they put that in there?
I think the only reason that I can hear it is because I did listen to a full Starbucks parody of Blank Space.
Okay.
And so like
So
the
that
whole
repetition.
song they put it in and they changed the whole song to Starbucks. So I can hear it, but when I'm singing the song just in my car for fun, it doesn't cross my mind, which is so funny that became a whole thing. And I I love Taylor's reaction. She just kind of laughs things off and goes with it. And I love that she gets her fans enough to be like, haha, that's funny.
Yeah.
And she laughs with us. So
do you have anything else in 1989?
I do. I have two.
Okay.
One is Out of the Woods, and it's just a small one. It's where she says, "Your necklace hanging from my neck." And I've always just thought it was "Your neck was hanging from my neck."
Well, that's one that is on the internet as like the top misunderstood lyrics of Taylor's. So the Starbucks and then this "Your neck was hanging from my neck."
And I think it's simple, but it's probably one that I'll sing right from now on, just because it doesn't make much difference, but it does make a difference. So
I'm not a fan of the misunderstanding. I think it's strange and weird, and it's not a way I would ever describe anything.
That's fair. It is an interesting way to describe. So yeah, I'll sing Necklace from now on. So, just a little one.
Okay.
But my other one is embarrassing.
I love it.
Let's so go. We'll come back into this. My cheeks will get rosy. This is in Welcome to New York. It's right at the beginning of the song where she says, "Loud heartbeats under coats."
Kaleidoscope of loud. Oh no.
I'm not the only one that got it. But I want to know what you sing.
Kaleidoscope of loud, happy thunder coats. Thunder coat.
I always sing tender coats. Loud, happy, tender coats.
Is thunder coat even a word?
Probably not. I've never heard it.
There's undercoat, but thunder, like in my head, it was the style of coats. Oh my God. You don't know what you don't know. You just don't. You don't know.
You really don't know. You have no clue until you find it out. Yeah, this was a crazy, like, I've always sung Kaleidoscope of Loud, Happy, Tender Coats. And I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get what a tender coat is. Well, I've always just thought like soft, fluffy, tender coats, but it doesn't really make sense. How can a coat be happy? A happy, tender coat? Those are not descriptions for a coat.
So what is the name of those really cute overcoats that are kind of these wool stylish? They're different colors. They're the longer, they're a little more dressed up. What is the name of that coat? Because I was thinking it was a tender coat.
No, I know what it is. I know what you're talking about.
I'm so embarrassed. Because I have a few of like different color coats, and let me look up coat styles.
Trench coat.
No, not even trench coat. Not trench coat.
I love that we're doing this podcast this way because we get to have these moments of I realized what I did wrong and now you do too.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So now I'm even more embarrassed because in my head, I'm thinking of pea coats. Beautiful pea coats that are kind of a little nicer. You can like have all these different colors. You can dress them up. Loud, happy, tender coats. I'm thinking of like all the variety of
loud, happy pea coats.
Yeah. Like, because it's a style.
That makes sense.
And in New York, they have to dress up. They have to look nice. Yeah. They've got the office to go to.
I feel like pea coats are totally a style in New York, but they're not called thunder coats.
Why did I think that it was an interchangeable word with thunder coat? Okay.
All right. Moving on.
Another one where you're like,
it's not tender and it's not thunder, but.
Okay. So the real lyric is kaleidoscope of loud heartbeats under coats. See, kaleidoscope to me was like the moving colors. And so I was envisioning all of these different color peacoats with different scarves, and like guys and girls wear these type of overcoats. And like I was this kaleidoscope of loud, happy overcoats.
Thundercoats. Tender
I
coats.
don't know. I don't know. That's so funny. I'm
Yeah, that's
embarrassed.
one that I've never understood what a happy tender coat is.
Tender
Tender.
coats.
Like I'm thinking like soft plush,
Hmm.
fluffy coats, like fur
Like
collars,
puffer coats.
puffer jackets, just big, comfy, warm jackets, coats.
Yeah.
Both
Well,
wrong.
both
Moving
wrong.
on.
Let's move on. I agree. Any more in 1989?
Nope.
Me
Nope.
neither.
We can move on to Reputation. Do you have any for Reputation?
I don't have any for
Me
Reputation,
neither.
which
And
surprised me because Reputation wasn't one that I knew backwards and forwards. I love the album, but I've never sat down with it and like gone through every lyric and all of that. And so this was one that I did this time to kind of see where I stood with the lyrics, and I was pretty spot on. So I didn't find
mhm.
anything. Of course, I could have missed it, but I didn't find any discrepancies in my
Yeah, I
beliefs.
was the same way. And I think the reason I didn't find many was because as I was going through Reputation, I was like, oh, I don't actually sing this song
Mm.
that often on some of them. And so there's no room for me to sing it wrong if I don't.
Right. There's no built in
Mhm.
misunderstanding.
But then the ones that I do sing, I was surprised that there wasn't things that I noticed that were wrong. Like you
One of
said, I
the,
could have missed them, but
yeah, well, one of the things with Reputation is I think everything is very clear
yeah,
and very concise. Lyrically, the way she wrote Reputation is pretty straightforward. She's like,
yeah.
this is
It's
what I want you
very
to get out of it.
yeah,
Very straightforward. So,
yeah. It's not necessarily choppy, but
yeah.
it's very staccato in
Yeah.
that each sentence she uses one word phrases a lot. She's very clear in her words and her statements. They start and they end
Yeah.
and they don't flow between each other very often, so there's not a whole ton of room for muddiness.
Mhm.
So
I agree.
I guess we move on to Lover then.
And just get Cruel Summer right out of the way because this is the song that spurred on this episode and this topic because we are not the only ones. I'm not
Nope.
embarrassed at all by this
Mm-mm.
misunderstanding, and I love
I love
both.
both versions. Yeah.
So the lyric is he looks up grinning like a devil, and what did we think it was?
He looks so pretty like a devil.
Yeah, and we're not the only ones that thought that.
No, we're not. And I think that's for a reason. And I think it's really cool that we acknowledge that the devil looks pretty.
Mhm.
I think as Christians, we believe that he's an actual force. And so for me, I've loved that lyric. I think both versions are cool, but I think he looks so pretty like a devil. To me, that just adds that meaning, reminding me that some of the bad things in life have this facade of being beautiful and good and desirable. And I think, regardless of what you believe in, that's true.
Mhm.
Some bad people for you will have this guise of being beautiful and good for you and loving, and really they're toxic. And so I've loved the misheard version of
Mhm.
that lyric.
So now looking at both the misunderstanding and the real lyric, what do you prefer?
I don't know. I think this is another one that I might use interchangeably depending on circumstances. I think both versions of that lyric work and can be used to convey a certain emotion.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think both of them work just as well. And I like both of them for their own reasons.
So what else in Lover?
I thought I didn't have very many embarrassing ones, but as you're teaching me right now during this, there's a lot of embarrassing ones, but this is labeled one of my embarrassing ones. So in Lover, I had this huge epiphany as I was doing this episode run through trying to find these things. This is one that I did not know until the other day. In the song, I think he knows. I don't even know how to justify it. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. I'm so embarrassed.
The
Um,
anticipation, I love it.
I'm going to justify it by saying this has a little bit of a hip hop sound. It has a little bit of a back in the day sound. And I guess maybe that's where I got this in there. Instead of bless my soul, I'm so embarrassed.
Oh no.
I hear that's my zone. And in the end, as she's like going out, I want you, bless my, I want you, bless my, I want you, bless my soul. I'm hearing, I want you, that's my, I want you, that's my, I want you. That's my zone. I'm thinking, it didn't sound wrong to me because it was like, that's my jam. That's where I belong. That's my zone. That's where I should be. And it doesn't make any sense now with the rest of the song. So there's one of my big embarrassing ones. That's my zone. Being embarrassed by what I misunderstand. That's my zone.
I will say that when I Think He Knows came out, at first it took me a second, but I got that it was Bless My Soul.
Yeah, I didn't.
Eventually.
I didn't.
That's my zone.
I was this week old when I found out it was Bless My Soul. Like within the last few days.
Nice. Bless your heart.
Bless my heart. Embarrassing. Yep.
That's all good. That's all good.
Is it? Okay.
We'll move on from that. We'll let that lie in the past. Do you have any others from Lover?
I don't.
Hey, I only have one, and this is London Boy, which most of London Boy I sing gibberish to because I don't know the places that she talks about in London. But there is a part of it that I have gotten wrong, but it is small. It is a little simple one. Where she says, met all of his best mates. I always sing, man, I love his best mates. Just as like an exclamation throughout the song. Man, I love his best mates. But no, she met all of them, which is cool. Yeah.
And that one's not embarrassing. Like I legitimately can understand that one.
Yeah, that one's chill. Although I don't think anyone wants to hear me sing London Boy because most of it, I just throw some syllables out there and hope it sounds like a town. But reading through, I do have a better idea of what the words actually are. I will say Highgate. That one should have been simple. I always said High Hit. Thought that was a place. It's not. So that's a simple one off the top of my head that I just get wrong. But most of them in London Boy, I just kind of made up.
I love it. I love it so much.
But that's it for Lover.
Okay. How about Folklore?
So this is actually the last one that I have. Because again, as I was going through Folklore and Evermore and Midnights, I was finding out that I've mostly read through the lyrics as I was listening to the songs for the very first time. But in August, I have always sung Slipped. August slipped away like a moment in time. August slipped away like a bottle of wine. But apparently one of them is sipped away like a bottle of wine.
I'm realizing I've gotten that wrong. Is there an August slipped away at all in there?
Yes.
Or is it all?
Yes. It's one or the other. So it's August slipped away like a moment in time. And then August sipped away like a bottle of wine. So apparently they're different.
It didn't slip away like a bottle of wine because that's...
See, in my head, that still makes sense.
Yeah.
But it kind of doesn't.
Is this the third one now that you're like showing me? And I'm like, yep, I've been getting that wrong this whole time. I just didn't catch it. I just didn't catch that I was wrong. Oh my goodness. It is sipped away like a bottle of
wine.
Which makes
slightly more sense. I mean, I feel like slipped away like a bottle of wine could potentially still work. But not really.
Yeah. It makes sense. The reality.
Sipped away makes more sense. Yeah. When you're thinking about how a bottle of wine disappears, it gets sipped away. It doesn't slip away.
You don't know what you don't know.
You don't know what you don't know.
I keep going back to that because there's a lot that I don't know. August sipped away like a bottle of wine. It did slip away into a moment in time, which perpetuated the misunderstanding. But it makes sense.
They're so close. They're hard. It's hard to hear the difference even just in speaking the word. And you know what? She's a genius for that. She's an absolute genius for putting the same word except for one letter in the same spot, but meaning different things. And
that's her poetry.
Props to her.
That. Yeah. This isn't the only place she's done that. So.
No, it's not. Yeah.
You got any more epiphanies for me?
No, that's it. I'm all out. Do you have any for me? What are your last
actually,
few?
Speaking of epiphany, I have one simple one in Epiphany when the lyric says only 20 minutes to sleep. I don't know what it would mean if it said hold me 20 minutes to sleep, but it's one of the things I heard. Hold me 20 minutes
Oh,
to sleep. Yeah, this is one I can't explain.
okay.
I know.
Okay.
Okay, well, hold on because that is embarrassing, but I'm going to open up a big can of embarrassing when I move to Evermore. Are we
Oh,
ready?
perfect. Yep. Yep.
Oh my gosh. So, a little explanation before I out myself with the most embarrassing and quite dark
Oh, good.
misunderstanding. It's
This
so
is going to
dark.
be dark. This is great.
It's so dark. When Folklore and Evermore came out, especially after Evermore came out, I felt like both of them could be this whole tapestry of stories weaved together and part of like a multi-generational story or like just so much. And it was timeless. And I was like, one song could be talking about a great great grandmother, and one song could be talking about a current. Anyway, Folklore and Evermore for me became such a visual tapestry that I would love somebody to like write a history on each song and show how everything's connected and maybe a small town or whatever. Well, and also within Folklore and Evermore, there's kind of a morally gray world. There's stories and possibilities of this multi-generational woven story. There's a bit of denial of right and wrong. There's secrets. There's all of this.
You've got me on the edge of my seat. I'm so curious.
And then you throw in, when Evermore comes in, you throw in No Body, No Crime, right?
Yeah.
And there's this element of mystery and darkness,
And
super
murder and
secrets,
death and
murder, death. Okay. In 'Tis the Season, there's a line that says, time flies, messy as the mud on your truck tires, etc.
Yeah.
I married a cold case of No Body, No Crime with this song. And I heard, only for a little time, I will say, Esty is the mud on your truck tires. So,
oh my gosh.
I told you it was dark because also in No Body, No Crime, do you remember what she says about his tires?
Yes, your truck has new tires.
Yeah. So as I was in this ethereal, like scary, like mystery place,
like these songs are connected.
Yeah, they were all connected. And the first thing I heard, granted, it was only one or two times that I thought that's what it was. And then like, I was like, did she really go there? And I realized she didn't, just me.
No, only you went there.
But I heard Esty is the mud on your truck tires. So it was this like accusation, and it was like that morally gray area because she's like, let's be together.
Oh my gosh.
Even if she knew he was a murderer.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know how to feel about this. I can't believe I admitted all of this, but I was like, did she really go there? And she didn't.
No.
Messy
as the mud on your truck tires. SD is the mud on you. Oh my gosh.
I know. Because he got new tires because of this crime.
But I don't think he ran over his wife.
No. It was more like the thought that was in my head was that was a metaphor. Like she's the reason he got new tires. Oh, I didn't. No, not her.
Sorry, I just made that worse.
You made it even darker. It was a metaphor for
like mother, like daughter.
Like she is the reason. She is the mud on his truck tires, metaphorically. Reining it back in. So the idea is that his tires will somehow link him to her disappearance, that the proof of where she is or what happened was on those tires. He knew that would give some kind of clue or evidence to where Esty is. She was the reason he had to get new truck tires because there was a mess.
She's the blood on his hands. She's the mud on his tires.
Yes.
She's not literally in the mud on his tires.
Correct. I didn't go there.
Okay, I will say that makes a lot more sense if you're thinking about it in a like
Blood on
ST
your
is the
hands.
blood on his hands, ST is the mud on his tires, that kind of simile.
Yes. So that one's
Well,
a big one.
well, do you have any others?
Not that I know of, because you don't
Then
know
that's a
what you don't
great
know.
place to end off.
I mean, come on. I have no
First podcast episode recorded in the new year, and we're starting off strong with us being embarrassed and talking about murder. So please join us on our next episode.
Yeah.
And let us know on social media or on YouTube what misheard lyrics you've had, or that you sing wrong, or that you think are better than the original. And thank you for listening.
Thanks for joining us for this episode of Our Swift Epiphanies.
Follow us on social media at Our Swift Epiphanies for behind the scenes and bonus content, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for exclusive video content.
Get in on the conversation by commenting or messaging us with your Swift Epiphanies.